Thanks for taking the time today. We'll get started here with Jimmy and then Rube.
Hey, Nick. Have you decided whether or not to rest your starters week 18? And if those calls, haven't been made yet, what is your general philosophy of the benefit of that versus, continuing to play to stay sharp or whatever?
Yeah, we're talking through all that still. We haven't decided anything there yet. We don't have to decide right now. We're preparing like we would normally prepare on a Monday for a game. Really, it's like a Tuesday now, but now that we got flexed to Saturday, so we're trying to get our plan ready. We're trying to rip through that, and again, like I said, we don't have to make some of those. We don't have to make that decision quite yet. And so, I know there's a thing about resting and there's a thing about staying sharp. No doubt, we're taking everything into account, and we'll discuss that later on today.
If I can just follow up real quick too, you mentioned you're preparing as normal. I'm sure you guys have figured out already that your most likely round one opponent would be Tampa. Do you start to look ahead to them in any way, even though you are preparing for Dallas this week?
Just, I guess, the same responses I had, kind of last week with all that. You don't look too far ahead. You don't look too far behind. You think about each day, what you got to get done that day, and that's been our model all year. That's been what we've done all year. Keeping it one game at a time, and we got to go out to be able to put our best foot forward and be ready to try to win this football game against a good football team in Dallas.
Go ahead, Rube, and then Chris Franklin.
Hey, Nick, you spoke last night about Jalen's calming influence on the players around him. Serious question. You're pretty wound up on the sidelines. We watch you. Does he have a calming influence on you at all? Does Jalen's demeanor affect you at all and help you?
Yeah, I mean, when he tells you to call anything you want, I'll make it roll. I mean, that's a calming influence for everybody, not just the players, not just his teammates, but coaches too. That's a great thing to have as a coach, to have your starting quarterback say that to you. So yeah, I think it's got an effect on everybody.
Go ahead, Chris, and then Tim.
Hey, Nick, you mentioned that you're still trying to figure out the plan for this upcoming week, but how much do you weigh the potentially keeping your offensive flow versus probably getting some more development for some of your younger players?
Again, things that I haven't really thought too much about yet. Again, because we came in here, we watched the tape of our game. Then we started getting ready for Dallas. So those will be everything's on the table. Of what we, to talk through all those things. Those are great points too, and we'll talk through that as well. But right now, just focusing on how we get ourselves. The tape is put to bed. We'll when the players get in tomorrow, we'll review parts of it with them. The coaches have reviewed, with our guys, their part of it, and then it was just on to Dallas.
Tim and then Martin.
Nick, in terms of your coaching past, have you been in this type of situation before on any of your teams, and how was that handled? And kind of what was your view there?
I've been in 7 playing games, 7. And then there was one time we were locked up in Kansas City. We had won the division in 2010, and we were locked up going into the last game. So, I mean, that was quite some time ago, but the other ones you were playing on week 17, then how many, what did I say, 6, 7? We were in 6 of them. And so we were, obviously that's a different story, but when we were in Kansas City, we rested some guys, but not the whole team, again. So I'll look back at that scenario, call Todd Haley, talk to him about it, call some different coaches and see what their opinion is. Again, we'll keep everything on the table. Not sure what we're going to do quite yet.
Go ahead, Martin, and then Jeff.
Hey, Nick, it's kind of a lighter type of question. On the TV broadcast, like near the end of the first quarter, you can kind of hear Jalen yelling out Delaware a few times. And obviously, since that's a paper I work for, I was kind of wondering, like, if there's any kind of significance to that at all, like, what it meant, if it means anything to you guys.
We do. We try to go to great detail to not let those words out there, but I know the camera picks them up sometimes. It's just a competitive advantage when the team knows your words. So, we fight like crazy, Martin, to protect those words, to hide those words, to marry those words together, to mean one thing, but to have something else happen. So I would be giving away a competitive advantage if I was giving that away, what that was. There's things named after states. I'll try to give you something here. There's things named after states. Unfortunately, it didn't have anything to do with the paper that you're working for, but it has meaning for us, and that's why we called it that. Got a beautiful view of Wilmington on the way home yesterday, and traveling. So.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Does it have
No,
anything
it's
to do with
Delaware.
Mount
I know it's
Union?
Delaware County. I know.
Does it have
is it
anything to do with
Delaware?
Mount Union?
No.
Casey, all right. Anyway, I guess I'll go light here too, because you know how much I love to go light. What was your reaction to making the playoffs?
Yeah, it was exciting. I mean, you come home from a game and you are always exhausted, even though I'm not playing obviously, but that coaching just emotionally takes a lot out of you, and so you're exhausted. You get home, and so by the time that it was actually clinched, I don't let myself get too excited, even though it was 37-10 at one point. You kind of wait until the whole thing. I was ready to go to bed by the end of it, but obviously we're really excited to be in the tournament, and but like I said, we got to focus on beating Dallas, and the plan that goes into that. We got to focus on getting better from the game that we played yesterday. But obviously, we're all excited to be in this situation, and the goal is obviously to run it out and go as far as we can in this thing.
Was there any way that the team marked it, or the front office, or your accomplishment of just making the playoffs? And was that like one of those things that you set as a goal before the season?
I think always,
tangibly.
Yeah. I think always your goal, if for whatever reason, you always have the goal of you want to win your division and you want to get into the playoffs. I think that's always the goal of every team, because anything can happen once you get in. So yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that we set that as a goal and we said, hey, our goal is to make the playoffs, but I know that's in the back of everybody's mind each and every year.
Go ahead, John McMullen, and then Zach.
Hi, Nick. Sorry about
Hey,
that.
John.
Let's help Martin out here. How often do you change those words, and did he screw up Delaware for you?
That depends. You change the words as you hear them on the television copy. We watch that television copy all the time. There's a lot of good teaching moments in a television copy. When you're watching a tape with the guys, they're very used to seeing the all 22 tape and it being a little bit further away. But there's a lot of good things you can use technique-wise when you're teaching a wide receiver, when you're teaching a quarterback. The wide receiver, they're right up on them, and obviously on the defensive back as well. The quarterback's like a sky cam view of them behind there. You can you can kind of put them in virtual reality when you teach them that, like they're in the play, reading the play. There's just so many good teaching moments from it. And you self-scout yourself all the time, right? What are we doing out of this formation? What are we doing in this set? What are we doing out of this personnel grouping? Are we balanced? This and that. Well, you do the same thing with the television copy. What words have they heard? What is that? What do the words mean to them? What are they seeing? And so you're constantly trying to do everything you can do so the defense doesn't have a beat on your offense, and trying to set them off when you think that they might. So we have a running list of those, and now Martin didn't give anything away. That was the first time we've used the word Delaware, because we were changing it from something else. To be completely honest with you, it meant something else, and now it meant that. And next week now, because Martin opened up his mouth, and we're gonna have to change the word again. So I'm just teasing Martin. We'll change it again. Anything to throw the defense off, we will do. And make it easy for us and harder for them.
Go ahead, Zach, and then Dave.
Hey, Nick, as much as you might keep the blinders on, I'm sure you know you were the subject of some criticism, some punchlines a few months ago. Is there any sense of vindication for you personally, given how the season transpired?
Nah, I don't look too much into that. Again, I try not to hear that outside noise. I know sometimes that you're going to hear it because obviously that's part of my job is to do the media multiple times in a week, and you naturally hear some of that stuff. When you're prepping to do, when Bob's prepping me to do the media. But everyone's got a job to do, and when we weren't playing good, there was criticism. When we're playing good, you get you get praise, and that's, I think, when it's the quarterback and the head coach, they get I think when you're winning, you probably get more praise than what you deserve, and when you're losing, you probably get more criticism than what you deserve. So I know everybody's got a job to do, and my job is to block out the outside noise, whether it's telling me that I'm really good and this is how I want our players to think as well, or whether it's telling me that I stink and that my catchphrase is about growing roots stink. No, but my job is to block all that out and to focus at the task at hand. And I respect everybody's job of what they have to do. I really do. And hopefully I'm helping you guys do your job the way you guys need to do it.
Go ahead, Dave, and then Mike.
Nick, are there any things you've learned about yourself this year that you wouldn't have known if you weren't a head coach?
That's a good question, Dave. I don't know. I've been doing this football coaching thing for a long time, been raised in it. I don't think so. I'd have to kind of catch me off guard with that a little bit, so I don't have a great answer for you. Let me think about that. Ask me again on Thursday, okay?
Sorry about that.
I'll have a better answer for you.
All right.
Go ahead,
You
Mike,
got
and
another
then
question?
EJ.
Dave, you got anything else?
Yeah, sure. I'll double down here. We saw Jalen yesterday kind of buy some time and keep his eyes downfield. What does that take for a young quarterback with his skill set to learn that and figure out when to do that and when not to do it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you're always, when you escape the pocket, you always want, as a quarterback, to be able to make the play downfield with your arm and then run. And Jalen has gotten better and better at that as the years went on. And so I think what you just see is he sees it on tape and he sees the guys. I think the entire team has gotten better at that, right? It's not just Jalen. It's how, like, if you looked at Dallas and the Dallas Goedert on the one where he breaks up the seam, he retraces and comes back to the football, and Jalen gets the ball to him, and he finds the open area. And then the same thing with Greg Ward. Greg runs a sit over the ball. Jalen breaks right. Greg mirrors him, and we get a big play from it. So it's not just a ton of it's on Jalen extending the play, keeping his eyes downfield. But you'd be surprised how much technique and detail go into the receivers and the tight ends and the backs finding the open spaces and how they find the open spaces. And we've gotten better at that as the year went on. I think, when Jalen was making plays with his feet early on, what we said to ourselves is, man, we're a couple scramble throws away from being really explosive at this thing. And that's been an emphasis as us as coaches and as players. And I know we've gotten better at that in a lot of different areas, and it really showed up yesterday.
All right, we have time for two more. So go ahead, Mike, and then EJ.
Hey, Nick, I know the last time the league moved a game last minute, it was very last minute, and you just kind of found out on the fly. Was there any communication between the league and you guys before the decision was made to have you guys play the Cowboys on Saturday? And if so, you're playing 4 games in 19 days. Have they told you kind of what to expect from a playoff scheduling standpoint because of that change?
There was rumblings about it that we might play Saturday, and so we knew a little bit. Again, I didn't know for sure. And
was that before
and then
this game?
What's that?
Just to clarify, was that before this game or after?
That was while I was watching the game.
Okay.
And then, and then we found out for sure, like, probably 5 minutes before you knew. And then what was the second part of your question, Mike? I'm sorry.
Have they told you anything about potential playoff timeline because you guys have had such a quick turnaround here with,
No, they haven't mentioned, we haven't asked and they haven't mentioned that, about what if you're a Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. Now there's a Monday night game now, right? I believe, and so we don't know anything about that. And like I said, it's gonna be hard for me to press and talk. I know you guys are gonna try to get me to talk about the playoffs. I'm gonna talk about Dallas, so I haven't really thought too much about it. So we're just trying to get ready for Dallas.
Last one here with EJ.
Hey, Nick, I might actually try to get you to talk about the playoffs a little bit here if you could tolerate one more on it. So I'm wondering if you have any updates on Miles, and then the guys on IR, I guess maybe not for this week, but for next week, like Brandon Brooks or Davion Taylor, do they have a chance to come back?
Well, Davion is officially out for the year because he's been put on IR twice, so he's unable to come back. No new update on Brandon, and then with Miles, I'm not thinking Miles is going to be up this week. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm not thinking he's up this week, and hopefully he'd be up, the following week. That's why this with Miles, it's easy to talk about the playoffs, right? Because you didn't put him on IR because you wanted to get him back in that 3-week span. So hopefully, I know he's progressing well. I'm not putting a timetable on him, but you guys know we're hopeful that we can get him back, for the opening round of the playoffs. But no other update on the other guys.